Hi there, welcome to the Sunday edition of This is Exclusive, in which we are going to focus on the upcoming visit of United States Vice President J.D. Vance, who's landing in India 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. What's going to be the implications of this visit? A big one coming in from the Trump administration. In fact, this is the topmost visit of the new Trump administration. Earlier, of course, we have had their DNI, Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, coming in last month. Of course, Prime Minister and Trump already have had a meeting, but from the Washington, D.C. side, this is the senior-most level visit coming in. While going through the implications, I'm going to be joined in by former Foreign Secretary Kamal Sibbal in a bit. Let's begin with the headlines.
One of the serious allegations has been made by a member of parliament against the Chief Justice of India. It is one of the important, very serious issues. Therefore, I think Honorable Speaker has to take action on these things.
Congress demands action on BJP MP Nishikant Dubey over his controversial remarks on judiciary.
ममता बनर्जी क्या कर रही है? बाकी कौन क्या कर रहे हैं, उनको सर्टिफिकेट कौन मांग रहा है? अरे आपके हाथ में प्रशासन है, पुलिस है, सरकार आपकी है, आप जाके कार्रवाई करो. कितने जो पकड़ा गया, कितने को पकड़े मुझे नहीं मालूम.
Mamata blames BJP and RSS in an open letter for Bengal violence. The BJP claims Hindus' houses marked and targeted before violence. National Commission for Women asks Bengal government to act, meets Bengal governor, discusses Murshidabad violence. National Commission for another genuine intolerance incident in Karnataka. Protest held after a student asked to remove sacred thread in Sagara at exam center. J&K, 3 dead in flash flood due to cloudburst. Heavy rains trigger the cloudburst in Ramban of Jammu region of the Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory. 3 lives lost. And US Vice President J.D. Vance to arrive in New Delhi tomorrow morning for his first official India visit. Tariff talks to be a special focus. All right, that's our focus. United States Vice President J.D. Vance, who's going to be wheels down in New Delhi tomorrow 10 a.m. along with his family. Along with his family, and they're going to be in the national capital all of tomorrow. The visit itself of 4 days, he's wheels up and leaves India on April 24th. During this 4-day visit, the first day in New Delhi is packed with official events where he's going to meet the Prime Minister and also hold delegation-level talks. And then, of course, an official dinner hosted by the Prime Minister for the visiting dignitary. Apart from that, he's going to have some cultural engagements. And the rest of the trip over the next 2 days is going to be in Agra and Jaipur. Seems more of a family visit there. I'm joined in this broadcast by former Foreign Secretary of India, Mr. Kamal Sibbal. Very good evening to you, sir. And let me begin by asking, how important you think is this visit of first visit of U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance to India?
A couple of things. One, that this is not an official visit. It's a private visit. But even private visits at such level have an official flavor to them. The decisions to make such private visits are not taken lightly, because there's always on the mind of those who take these decisions that the visit will have official overtones. And as you said, there's going to be a meeting with the Prime Minister, delegation level talks, etc., which means that the India-US agenda would be covered in these talks, and whatever the Prime Minister and President Trump had agreed, and that's reflected in the joint statement that was issued after Prime Minister Modi's visit, will be reviewed, and more importantly, in the context of what is happening on the tariffs front, and the 90-day period that for us in order to find some kind of via media and progress in terms of reaching basic understandings on where we are headed in terms of India also opening up its market and the United States in return giving us openings so that it is a win-win situation. The second thing is that Vice President Vance has taken a very high profile in foreign policy, which is not very, very usual. As you would have seen in many of the interactions that have taken place in President Trump and visiting leaders, President Vance says things in these official conversations. But more than that, he went to Europe and made a very powerful speech at the Munich.
Mr. Sibal, sorry to be interjecting. There is some audio issue. Just hold on. I'm asking the PCR to fix the audio. In the meantime, I'm just playing some graphics just so that we can fix the audio and come back to you. I want to continue this conversation. So this is some of the information that should be the focus for viewers when Vice President J.D. Vance's visit pans out over the next few days. And we have trade talks going on. In fact, our Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal was in Washington, D.C. in the month of March, and he had gone there to take the trade talks further. And it is likely that we're going to see some movement forward in that direction. The two sides have put a benchmark of a trade deal which talks about $500 billion worth of trade, given the fact that this is one trade relationship in which India has benefited immensely. We have a trade surplus with the United States, and that should hold us in good stead. And the high-profile visit really underscores the kind of the kind of talks at the topmost levels that are happening between New Delhi and Washington, D.C. Remember, Jan 20 is the time when President Trump took oath of office, and just next day, the first bilateral meeting of the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, happened with External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, who had represented India during the oath-taking ceremony. And then after that, we had Prime Minister himself visiting United States in the month of February. In the month of March, we have had Tulsi Gabbard traveling to India. And before that, same in the month of March, we had Piyush Goyal visiting Washington, D.C. I think we have fixed the audio there. Now I can go back to Mr. Sibal. Sir, you were talking about the trade deal. Sorry for this interruption, but it's fixed now. You think India has done the right thing by not retaliating when the tariffs were being imposed, and in that sense send across a message to the United States and to Washington, D.C. that we are in for the long haul, we are looking at a long-term relationship, so let this turbulence not affect it. And that's really paying dividends now, or would pay dividends.
The point is, do we want a trade war? Retaliation would mean that we have taken the decision to have a trade war with the United States. That would be a very foolish position to take. The whole idea was that we should meet the challenge that Trump is posing not only to us, but the entire world in a sense, and deal with it constructively and see if we can evolve win-win situations. That was the whole idea of our Prime Minister making a very early visit to Washington. And even before he made the visit, in our budget, we made some concessions on the market front to U.S. products. And then subsequently, we've had a series of interactions. Our Commerce Minister has gone there. Mr. Lutnick was here well, he was not physically here, but he spoke at the Raisina dialogue.
Yes.
Our side has met Jamie Greer, the USTR, and now our team is going once again to Washington. The new designated Commerce Secretary will be going there to hold talks. So it's an ongoing effort by us to see if this 90 days so-called reprieve that everybody has got from this tariff thing can be used constructively by us to reach some kind of basic understandings and then work on them so that by the time the autumn comes and the Quad summit takes place, and President Trump is expected to come for that summit, we would have been able to agree on the first phase of the multi-sector trade agreement. So it was a very wise decision on us. China took a very different course of action, and you've seen how this is erupted into a big confrontation between the United States and China. We do not know how it will end, but clearly it's going to cost both sides a great deal. India has been very cautious. We have seen what our own capacities are, what the challenge is, how we're going to meet it, and not be adventurous. And while protecting our interests, which we will, there's no doubt about it, to see if we can actually make some concessions which may be necessary in order to obtain some concessions from the United States.
Right. So one quick question before I let you go. You mentioned initially that this is a private visit. Vice President is traveling with his family, but J.D. Vance is someone who who pulls no punches. We have seen his appearances in Europe twice now, and he really sort of calls a spade, and he seems to be building up to a future presidency, if not in 2020, if not the next one, maybe next to that. In that sense, you think this engagement with Vice President Vance holds India and India-United States relationship in good stead going forward?
Oh, yes, of course. We are investing very early in this relationship, and Vice President Vance has taken a very conscious decision to come to India very early during his tenure. Even though he's come on a private visit, he knows that there's an official flavor to this visit, and he'll have an occasion to have solid discussions with the Prime Minister and discuss the agenda that we have between the two countries. And it's good that we brief him thoroughly about where we are headed, because he's playing a very important foreign policy role in the Trump administration. He has a strong personality, he has strong views, and if we have him on the winning side insofar as we are concerned, it is certainly helpful to us.
Right. Right. Thank you so much. For the next 3 days, we'll see J.D. Vance, coming to India. And
may I say something, though?
Yeah, please do, sir.
I was a bit surprised at the statement that has been made by the Congress Party's spokesperson, where he's advocating that we should talk tough with President Vance and lecture him on why they've left the WHO and the climate change agreement and the WTO and everything else. This is just not the moment. Actually, we should not use this visit to play domestic politics. We should actually do things which help in forging a stronger ties with the United States. The United States is a very difficult country, even for its allies. There's no doubt about that. And Trump is unpredictable. But it has become the most important relationship with us. And therefore, we should have a basic national consensus that we should try and extract the maximum that we can from this difficult relationship, rather than playing cynical domestic politics and actually putting roadblocks in our relationship with the United States.
Absolutely well, sister. That's why I asked at the beginning whether we have done the right thing by not really retaliating. The Congress Party, of course, baiting the ruling BJP because they have nothing to lose. And you rightly mentioned that we shouldn't be playing politics of this kind with such an important relationship for India and its foreign policy. Thank you so much. Kamal Sibal there, former Foreign Secretary, giving a lowdown on how the visit of US Vice President J.D. Vance is going to pan out, and so far as India is concerned, what are going to be the possible takeaways. So moving on and staying with foreign policy for a while, because there is turmoil in our neighborhood in Nepal, the Himalayan kingdom, not kingdom anymore, but the state is having difficulties with its internal politics. Today we had the Rashtriya Prajatantra Party, its leadership, including Chairman Rajendra Lingden and spokesperson Gyanendra Shahi. They were arrested from inside the Singha Darbar premises. And remember, this is a party which is a pro-monarchy party, the pro-royalist party. And they have been campaigning, and the campaign has picked up over the last month or so to bring back King Gyanendra and the royalty in Nepal. These are pictures from earlier when the arrest took place. And in fact, I am being joined in by Sharad Raj Pathak. He's General Secretary of the Rashtriya Prajatantra Party. And very good evening to you, Mr. Pathak. Please tell us why your chairman has been arrested.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Actually, Rashtriya Prajatantra Party had announced on Thursday that we would be staging a protest in the restricted zones for today. So as per the declared program, our chairman and our party senior leaders were assembled in the Sima Darbar area, which is the administrative center of the country. And when we were about to head to the predetermined location, we were marching along, and then the police were present there to arrest us, the party leaders. That's where they detained the party leaders and took them to the custody for about 4 hours.
Okay, so which means they have been released. Is that what you're suggesting, Mr. Pathak?
They have been released about half an hour ago. They were detained for like 4 hours.
Okay, and what's going to be your demand now, given the fact that the government has made its views very clear that there is no question. In fact, not just government, a majority of political parties in Nepal believe that there is no possibility of monarchy coming back. It's almost like the RPP is trudging a lonely furrow. I mean, you do not have many others supporting you.
No, that's their version. Actually, people have different version. As you have witnessed in Kathmandu on March 28th, there was a huge protest demanding the restoration of constitutional monarchy and also declaring Nepal a Hindu state. So since then, different protest programs have been taking place in Kathmandu and other part of Nepal. So the major ruling parties have been feeling threatened by public that they've been demanding for restoration of monarchy and the Hindu kingdom. So that's why they are dismissing public voice. They call themselves democratic leaders. They believe in, they express this commitment towards the democracy, but actually, in reality, they are not believing in democratic approach,
right.
You know. So that's why RAPRPA, Rashtriya Prajatantra Party, have been staging protests in Kathmandu, demanding for the restoration of the constitutional monarchy as per party's principle.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Pathak. And of course, we have always kept close track of developments in our neighborhood, particularly Nepal, where of late we have seen political churn with a segment of the society wanting the royalty or the monarchy to come back, and the Rashtriya Prajatantra Party is the political manifestation of that thought. Thank you so much, Mr. Pathak, for joining us. Moving on, and on to Jammu and Kashmir, where a cloudburst led to flooding of rivers and landslides, and it has caused heavy distress and affected areas where people are struggling to bring life to normalcy, and this has happened over the last 24 hours alone. And the floods and the landslides have claimed at least 3 lives, and many houses have been completely damaged, and as many as 90 people had to be rescued by the administration from one area of Ramban alone. Relief and clearing operations are in fact underway as we speak. And Gursimran, I am told, is joining us live from Ramban itself. Gursimran, what's the latest in terms of relief and rescue? And more importantly, how's the weather? You think that the worst is over and that now the administration has to just focus on bringing normalcy back?
See, Abhishek, it cannot be said that the worst is over because heavy rainfall has resumed once again, and it has led to suspension of all the relief and rescue operations that were underway in the Ramban district. We spoke to the authorities in the Ramban, and they have confirmed that for the day the operations have ended. Reason being that the thunderstorm, lightning and the heavy rainfalls that are taking place and making it really very difficult for the authorities to carry out the rescue operations. Now tomorrow morning the rescue operations will resume, but for the time being a decision has been taken that all the schools and colleges across the Ramban districts have been closed and they will not open till 22nd. That is tomorrow. They will remain closed.
Karnataka wala le lo phono se.
That has been taken. But if we speak of the next 24 hours forecast that has come from the IMD for the Ramban district, it says that similar heavy to heavy rainfalls will continue. So it is very likely that things may deteriorate, and that's why we are witnessing that senior government functionaries as well as the officials and the NDRF teams from the Jammu have already reached the Ramban district. Though the fortunate part is that the people are responding to the evolving situation. The people are in touch with the authorities, and in case there is a contingency that they see that it is going to rain heavily or there is a possibility of a mudslide in the area, they evacuate the place, and that is why we have witnessing that only 3 casualties have been reported from the Ramban district. But yes, any threat cannot be ruled out, reason being that this area has been prone to the landslides and the mudslides, and the way it is raining heavily since late evening, it is making it really very challenging for the authorities to carry out the relief and the rescue operation, and that's why it has been called off for the day. And now with the tomorrow's first light, if the situation permits, the relief and rescue operation will resume. But the major concern for the authorities continues to be the resumption of the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway, which seems that is not going to happen for next couple of days. Abhishek.
One more question before I let you go, Gursimran. Given the fact that it's again raining in areas of Jammu, how widespread is this? You think that tomorrow the administration could have more on its hands in other areas also, or is it, given the fact that it was a cloudburst and typically cloudbursts are limited to one local area, this is localized and can be contained?
See, Abhishek, it is localized to 3 districts, that is to Riyasi, the upper reaches of Riyasi near Arna school area, and then it is in the Ramban district and the Kishtwar district. These 3 districts, they are witnessing their situation is going grim in these 3 districts with the heavy rainfall taking place, and tomorrow it is also expected that these 3 districts will be the prime focus for the administration. But one more thing, the level of Chirab is rising, and if it continues to do so, it will have implications in the lower-lying areas, including that of the Udhampur, Riyasi, and also in the Jammu. So that is also being kept in mind by the authorities, because the way water flow is increasing, the reservoirs and the dams are being opened by the authorities so that it does not hamper any of the ongoing projects here in the Ramban district. But when it flows down to Jammu, Udhampur and Riyasi, it will have implications there. So it has to be seen what happens tomorrow, and it all depends upon the rainfall that will happen tonight.
All right, fluid situation there in the Jammu region of Jammu and Kashmir with heavy rains, cloud blasts and whatnot, creating this situation, trouble for the people and of course administration on the job. Thank you so much, Gursimran. Republic also on the job, bringing you those pictures live all through the day, and we'll be there tomorrow also. Thank you, Gursimran, for joining us. Moving on, and we are getting a breaking news development, and a good one there. Former DGP of Karnataka has been found to be brutally stabbed to death inside his own residence. And that's too in Bengaluru, in the uptown area of Bengaluru called HSR Layout. The retired DGP is identified as Om Prakash. And apparently, the report suggests that he has been killed by his family member, in fact, by his wife, and the motive is yet to be ascertained. The wife is not in custody of the police yet. Om Prakash was the DGP of Karnataka in the 2015-2017 period, 1981 batch IPS officer, and these are reports. Let's try and connect with our Kannada newsroom in Bengaluru. Okay, in fact, Niranjan is going to join us on the phone and give us more details of what exactly has happened. Investigation has been launched. As I mentioned, there was some family issue. It seems that has led to this killing, and Karnataka DGP, former top cop, found dead in his residence. He was found to be stabbed with a knife multiple times, and he was lying in a pool of blood when the police reached this spot. And originally from Bihar, but a Karnataka cadre officer, and hence retired as the DGP. He was DG of the Home Guards and Fire Services in 2015-2017 period, and his residence at the HSR layout